Blizzards are not the scariest thing, but there is one thing we fear the most. It is hunger. No prey is appearing either. Everything seems to be hibernating. Predators are everywhere. Just a slight lapse in vigilance could be die. Welcome to the winter of Alaska, where life, struggle, and survival unfold in the icy cold. Located in the far northwest of North America, Alaska borders Canada to the east, the Arctic Ocean to the north, and the Pacific Ocean to the west, across the Bering Strait from Russia. The weather here is truly harsh, with snow and ice covering almost year-round. Temperatures in Alaska typically drop below 0 degrees Celsius, ranging from -18 degrees Celsius to -30 degrees Celsius, and can plummet to -50 degrees Celsius in northern areas like Barrow and Fairbanks. Snowfall is heavy, averaging 1 to 2 meters per season, with some mountainous areas receiving up to 4 to 5 meters of snow. Rivers and lakes are frozen with ice up to 1.5 meters thick, making Alaska one of the harshest winter environments in the world. To survive, the wildlife here requires resilience and adaptation. When the majestic auroras appear, animals are busy preparing for the coming winter. From October, temperatures start to drop, and some areas already have snow. This herd of caribou is taking advantage of the remaining dry grasses on the snow-covered ground. As in less than a month, the snow may deepen and cover this scarce food. If they don't act quickly, they will surely face starvation. This red fox, scientifically known as Vulpes vulpes, is commonly found in northern Alaska. It has just been fortunate enough to catch a bird, and the meal is going well. It is very foresighted, trying to hide the leftover food in the snow. Unfortunately, if the snow falls heavily, it will be very difficult to locate the hidden stash. Winter is about to begin, and the red fox needs to quickly gather as much food as possible before many species migrate or hibernate, making it much harder to find prey at that time. Off the northern and northwestern coast of Alaska, this polar bear named Anna is pregnant and is expected to give birth in mid-January. At this time, the sea ice begins to form, allowing polar bears to move further afield in search of seals. The life of a polar bear is closely tied to the ice, hunting on the ice. They are often referred to as the wanderers of the sea. Forests are covered in snow. Everything edible is utilized. Many eyes are watching, Hunting under the thick snow in winter is challenging. In this area, the snow is not too deep yet. Conditions are favorable for adding protein to the diet. It seems that a divine sign has given the deer an ominous sense. Run! The deer was fortunate to move quickly. The wolf pack's hunt has failed. They will have to learn from this for future attempts, choosing prey that are either young or old and weak. This failure means the whole pack will face starvation. Winter is the longest season of the year in Alaska, and from November onwards, snow blankets the mountains, creating a stunning and majestic landscape. Yet beneath this seemingly uninhabitable snow layer, there exists a small but very industrious creature. To avoid the cold and stay safe from predators, the best strategy is to build a cozy home. In this warm shelter, a snug sleeping area is essential for sweet dreams. However, sweet dreams don't last long. The snowy owl flies silently and almost noiselessly, with its broad wings gliding smoothly and gracefully, aided by the sparse feathers at the wingtips that make its flight more silent. The lemming had not yet realized what had just happened. On the other side of the mountain, emerging from her den after days of storm avoidance, she is very hungry. In winter, there is very little food available on the snow-covered surface, so moving further afield is a necessity. Traveling farther means constant lurking dangers. The villain has appeared. These golden eagles typically migrate south in Alaska as temperatures continue to drop, but they cannot continue flying if they have nothing in their stomachs. Eagles have superior vision, approximately 4 to 5 times better than humans. They can spot prey from over 3 kilometers away. Eagle eyes contain more cone cells, which helps in detecting fine details, even in low light conditions, and perceiving colors, including ultraviolet light, aiding in hunting from afar or while flying at high speeds. Once you are spotted by them, any movement could be fatal. She has detected the predator. Fleeing is the best option now, especially for a quick and agile rabbit. However, it is unfortunate that she has ventured too far from her safe shelter. Soaring down at speeds up to 240 kilometers per hour, her escape only adds to the drama of the golden eagle's story. A life ends in silence as an inevitable part of the survival cycle. In the heart of winter in Alaska, another diligent resident is eager to venture out in search of food to fill a hungry belly. Thick snow blankets everything, making hunting difficult. Prey hides beneath the icy layer, hard to reach. Perhaps waiting is the best option now, as snow and wind make it hard to hear or smell and locate prey. Patience and focus are key to survival. Now is also the time to retrieve stored food, preserved perfectly under the snow, much like how we store meat in a freezer. Fortunately, he found the hidden food. Though sparse and mostly bones, it still provides some energy to seek fresher sustenance. During this time in Alaska, the sun appears for only a few hours a day, and in places like Utqiagvik, sunlight is very limited or non-existent for entire days. When the sun does shine, the snow-covered landscape, ice, and the weak light from the low horizon sun create a mystical and serene environment. The red fox has a keen sense of smell and can detect food beneath the thick snow. However, the thickening snow and winds make it increasingly difficult to pinpoint the exact location. Red foxes have excellent hearing, able to detect a snow grouse moving 600 steps away, a raven flying 0.25 to 0.5 kilometers away, and a mouse squeaking from 100 meters corresponds to 330 feet. They can pinpoint sounds within a frequency range of 700 to 3000 hertz. When the winds and snowstorms subside, this fox species can fully utilize its superior abilities. It seems to have detected something beneath the thick snow. Are they playing? No. In reality, it has discovered a mouse beneath the snow. But catching it is never straightforward. It needs to remain quiet and listen carefully. From close range, the mouse's heavy breathing can also help the fox locate it. The small mouse, though tiny, still provides some benefit. As winter progresses, rivers in northern Alaska completely freeze over, and snow blankets most of the mountain ranges. On mountain slopes, at elevations of 3,000 meters above sea level, temperatures can drop below -20 degrees Celsius for many days. In Alaska, it is estimated that there are about 5,000 bison, primarily inhabiting grasslands and valleys at the foothills of mountain ranges like the Brooks Range and the Alaska Range. These areas, with their rugged terrain and harsh climate, provide natural shelter, helping them escape fierce snowstorms and search for food along the mountain slopes, where the snow cover is not as thick as on the plains. The thick fur and solidarity help this herd of bison endure the cold. Blizzards and strong winds gradually wear down their remaining strength. They move close together, forming a tight-knit group to stay warm and conserve energy, battling against the harsh cold of winter. During snowstorm days, they limit movement and will have to endure hunger. Without food, and if there is any, it must be dug out from under the snow. The frozen grass underneath is also very sparse. This is an incredibly tough time for the young and the old under strong blizzards. They will have to endure hunger for many days due to difficulty in moving. The bison are the only species capable of withstanding blizzards. They will stay put until the storm and winds subside. Their survival instincts have served them well, but not everyone is so fortunate. Some of the old or young individuals may never awaken. Alaska is home to many seal species, thanks to its rich marine ecosystem and cold environment. These seals are widely distributed along the coastline and in the icy waters. Ice floes provide a safe place for resting, breeding, and caring for young. They also help seals avoid predators and take time to recover between hunting sessions. This seal pup was born in November, making it one of the latest born here. It only spends a few weeks with its mother, nursing and gaining weight up to 3 kilograms per day. After weeks of wandering, Anna needs to stock up on energy before entering hibernation and giving birth starting January next year. And it seems she has detected nearby seals. Polar bears have an excellent sense of smell. They can detect the scent of seals from distances of up to 3 to 5 kilometers. Depending on the wind or snow, they can move and locate the exact position of the seals. And these two seals, a mother and her pup, are Anna's target. This hunting trip is crucial for Anna. Climate change has made it difficult for her to find seals in the shallow, nearshore waters. The seal pup has escaped. Anna's clumsy efforts have not yielded results. Anna is 6 years old, and this is her first pregnancy. The scarcity of food threatens both Anna and her unborn cubs. Many polar bear cubs may die in the womb or may not be born. Polar bears have a reproductive cycle of about every 3 years. This slow reproductive cycle is due to the extended period of maternal care, usually from 2 to 3 years before cubs are independent. At this time, there will still be seal pups born late in the autumn. They have already weaned and are living independently. These will be rare opportunities that Anna might be able to take advantage of. The seal pup is sheltering under an ice cave, feeling quite safe and able to relax a bit. Anna is more composed now, approaching step by step. On this side, the seal pup has not yet detected anything unusual. Anna underestimated the thickness of the ice, and the time was enough for the seal to escape. The majestic slopes of Denali in Alaska emerge in the stark white of snow. A mother reindeer and her calf are resting. This calf, born in the autumn, is nearly 5 months old and curls up to fend off the relentless cold winds. Reindeer can eat a variety of plant foods, including herbs, ferns, mosses, grasses, shoots, fungi, and leaves. To find food, they must graze tiny bits or scrape through the frozen ice. On average, an adult reindeer consumes about 4 to 8 kilograms of vegetation each day. Meeting this food requirement is quite a challenge. Even for adult reindeer, hunger and cold, coupled with the harsh weather challenges, make survival difficult. The suffering of one can sometimes become the joy of another. This creature is the wolverine. One of the largest members of the weasel family, an adult wolverine can weigh around 30 kilograms, but individuals vary significantly in size. Some female wolverines can weigh less than 10 kilograms. Although they are quite capable hunters and can take down prey as large as moose, which can weigh up to 7 times their own body weight, wolverines prefer scavenging and are quick to locate and consume carrion. Wolverines are voracious eaters, unlike their relatives, resembling honey badgers in their ravenous and aggressive behavior. The feast begins. Animal carcasses decompose more slowly in winter due to the low temperatures, and wolverines sometimes benefit from this. Wolverines have excellent vision, often lifting their heads to scan their surroundings, but their sense of smell is relatively weak, making it harder for them to pinpoint the exact location of food. Despite being known as one of the most gluttonous creatures of the Arctic, it seems he is on high alert for something. Not only the wolverine enjoys the feast, the Arctic fox, which looks so cute, also joins the party. They quickly scent and move towards the location of the deceased. Thanks to the reindeer carcass, it can survive through the coming freezing days. They are quite content. The Arctic fox does not hibernate and is active year-round. They store fat in the fall and can sometimes increase their body weight by over 50%. This helps insulate them through the winter and provides a good energy source when food is scarce. Back to our pack of wolves, they have not managed to hunt any large prey for weeks. If they endure hunger for more than 3 weeks, there is a risk of some dying. They are very serious in this life or death battle. A herd of reindeer is in danger. To ensure survival, reindeer must keep moving to find the scarce food available in this winter. They have accidentally entered the sights of the wolf pack. The wolf pack does not launch an attack immediately. Instead, they will monitor their prey for a considerable time, and only when they identify the weakest targets, they will encircle and eliminate them. These are definitely the weak, young, or injured ones. They only attack when commanded by the alpha. The thick snow makes running difficult for them, and failure seems inevitable. But the story is not over for the wolf pack. A small deer has been spotted. There is no chance for the unfortunate one. Wolves have a hierarchical structure, even while feeding, but rules are not always strictly followed. Some may break the rules and will certainly be reprimanded. When negotiations fail, it will inevitably be resolved with violence. This meal is very valuable to the wolf pack. Although the deer is not large, it could provide the pack with additional strength for future hunts. Not as noisy as the wolves. This silent predator is watching. It is a silent professional. You might think it will take the wolf's food, but instead, it is going after its own prey. This is the Canada lynx, which lives mainly in the snowy regions of northern Alaska and is also found extensively in Canada. This species has long, dense fur, triangular ears with black tufts, and broad feet resembling snowshoes. The mouse is busy building its new home and has not yet detected the approaching danger. There is no need to hurry. The current position is not advantageous, so the lynx shifts to a more effective approach. The opportunity is approaching. With thick padding on its feet, each step it takes is almost silent. However, with the prey buried under the snow, it cannot pinpoint the exact location to strike like a fox. The only option is to wait for the right moment. Only when it knows the exact position of the mouse will the attack commence. Under its sharp claws, the mouse has no chance of escape. From September to April, the northern lights are easily visible in Alaska. As the year progresses, they become more visible and their colors become more vibrant. The aurora forms when electrically charged particles from the solar wind collide with Earth's ionosphere. Under the influence of the magnetic field, these particles concentrate around the poles and interact with atmospheric gas molecules, creating light. This brilliant light also signals that winter has arrived. At the end of the year, most rivers in Alaska freeze, but strangely, here the water does not freeze completely. This place is home to a large number of large birds, which are considered a symbol of the United States. Bald eagles. In November, the Eagle Valley transforms into a spectacular haven for bald eagles, where the largest concentration of bald eagles in the country gathers. Witness the incredible sight of up to 3,000 bald eagles gathering along a 4-mile stretch of the stunning Chilkat River in the 48,000-acre Alaska Chilkat Bald Eagle Preserve near Haines. What is special is that most rivers in Alaska will freeze in winter. When temperatures drop significantly, often below -20 degrees Celsius or lower, rivers begin to be covered by thick ice. Large rivers like the Yukon and Kuskokwim are usually frozen from October to April, turning them into giant ice roads. But at a stretch of the Chilkat River, the water only freezes on the banks. In the middle, there is still a flowing, warm current. The strange phenomenon is due to geological activity in the area, with numerous hot springs flowing into the river. This is why the river does not freeze. Under the water, it is like a graveyard of salmon. This is the final migration of the year for salmon to the warm waters here to spawn. They are exhausted and end up leaving their bodies behind. And this is also why thousands of bald eagles gather here. This free food source becomes a feast for the bald eagles. Every year, bald eagles from all over come to this area, taking advantage of the easy hunting opportunity. Exhausted or dead salmon, after spawning, float on the water, becoming a tasty meal. They can come from various locations, including the dense forests along the Pacific coast in Alaska, British Columbia, and Washington. Additionally, Eagles fly in from high mountain areas like the Rockies in Canada, or from the large lakeshore regions in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Remote coastal areas in Oregon and along the Gulf of Alaska are also common gathering spots before they head further north to the frozen rivers. Once they arrive, they perch on tall rocks, large branches by the riverbanks, or at the edges of steep cliffs, where they have the perfect vantage point to spot exhausted salmon floating up to the surface. These salmon were born about 4 to 5 years ago right here. With a journey from the Bering Sea to the Chilkoot River of approximately 1,600 kilometers, lasting over 3 months, which exhausts them completely to complete their life cycle. The Chilkat River salmon are quite large, often weighing as much as an eagle, about 4 to 6 kilograms, 9 to 13 pounds. And bald eagles find it difficult to lift the fish completely off the ground. Instead, they often drag the fish to the shore or eat it on the spot. Ravens also take advantage of the bald eagle's strength to secure a hearty meal for themselves. However, after December, the number of salmon dwindles, and this free food source will be depleted. Competition starts to emerge among the bald eagles. Their talons are very sharp, and their legs are strong. If not careful, rivals may be mortally wounded. The leftover scraps and bones will soon be cleaned up. With winter only halfway through, these bald eagles will need to spread their wings and search for new sources of food. Current climate change is directly affecting Alaska, particularly the northern sea regions like the Beaufort Sea and the Chukchi Sea. Previously, these sea areas were completely frozen throughout the winter. However, now the ice in these regions forms much later and melts earlier, reducing sea ice extent and affecting the ecosystem, particularly species dependent on ice, like polar bears and seals. Even if ice forms, it is often too thin, usually insufficient for seals to haul out. Returning to our Anna, with food sources extremely scarce and the climate changing too much, she has been unable to give birth. This time would normally be when Anna hibernates to give birth and care for her cubs. But we see Anna has become very thin. She has traveled thousands of kilometers around the northern regions, where there is more ice. Temperatures in recent years have varied greatly, with very thin ice in this area. Polar bears are excellent swimmers. To search for seals, they may swim for hours or even days if conditions are unfavorable for resting on the ice. Anna is very hungry, partly because the number of seals in this area has become very low. To hunt easily, she might have to wait until early spring when seals are preparing to breed. These vast sea areas were once covered by thick ice, but now it is only a thin layer, making it impossible for large animals to move. And only where the ice is thick enough can seals appear. They rely on sea ice to rest, breed, and avoid predators. When sea ice melts early or is insufficiently thick, seals struggle to find safe resting places, which severely impacts their life cycle. Anna has recently spotted a seal. After months of food scarcity, Anna has lost up to 1/3 of her body weight, making her look only slightly larger than a young adult bear. The polar bear's sense of smell is extremely keen, allowing them to detect prey from great distances. Polar bears can smell seals from over 1.6 kilometers, about 1 mile, away, and can even detect seals under ice up to 1 meter thick. Everything needs to be done very quietly. The seal is obscured by drifting ice, making it almost impossible to detect Anna approaching. Luck has arrived. This seal provides a crucial source of fat for the polar bear's survival. It will sustain her for a few days before she embarks on her next hunt. From this point on, seals will become more abundant, and Anna will soon regain her weight and prepare for the next breeding season. Among most of the wildlife living here, polar bears are perhaps the most heavily affected by climate change. They have tried to adapt for survival by extending their time hunting on land and altering their diet. But these efforts are still insufficient to compensate for the loss of their primary habitat. Many findings have shown that they are not reproducing or are engaging in cannibalism. If this trend continues, the survival of the polar bear species will be increasingly threatened. Alaska currently has very few polar bears, and this situation is becoming more severe due to increased climate change. We need to act immediately to rapidly reduce global warming, such as by cutting greenhouse gas emissions and promoting renewable energy. By mitigating the impact of climate change, we can protect the habitat of polar bears and other wildlife, helping to maintain ecological balance and preserve Alaska's vital ecosystems.